Has Kyle been tanking with his play calling? You almost wonder. You almost wonder. All of these passes, all of these turnovers that are so obviously avoidable by like any idiot just being like, hey, why don't you run with your good run game and help your defense? I mean, hey, Kyle, it seems like your offensive line isn't great in pass protection and your quarterback's throwing a bunch of picks. Like maybe you want to just run the ball as much as possible. No, we're gonna play I'm just gonna call the way the game of I want to call it. And if we throw 3 picks, we're gonna throw 3 picks. That's the way it is. Okay. Well, I don't know, man. And then he can be like, well, we ran 36 times. It doesn't matter. It's just those 3 plays in those 3 situations where you passed when you really didn't need to. You know, it's like, well, it's bound to happen. So I don't know. Maybe he has been tanking. I just don't know. Couldn't tell you. There's an argument to be made. There's an argument to be made. Because if he was like, if his job were on the line and he needed to win these games, I think he'd find a way. I have a feeling these turnovers wouldn't be happening and they would run the ball. And the offense would rank lower. It'd be probably ranked, 25th in yards, which is no good for the offensive coordinator and him, but they'd be winning. There's no way they should have lost those NFC East games. I don't care. How would you prioritize safety in the offseason? Oh, man. It's a starting position the Niners don't have. Oh, man. You could go with Moore and Ward, but you got to draft a guy. You go with Moore and Ward and you draft a guy. So you got to, it's someone who could play, maybe a 3rd round pick on a safety. So many things the Niners need. They need to trade down. They need to trade down and get more picks. Free agent at safety, yeah, but how much cap space are the Niners going to have? Lynch is going to have toughest offseason as GM this year. So many free agents and guys that need to get cut. Yeah, this offseason, the difficulty is a 10 out of 10. I do not envy the Niners. I don't see how they do everything. And the problem is they brought this on themselves. By addressing their strengths instead of their weaknesses last offseason, they just kicked the can down the road. Now they got to address them this year. And who's to say they will? Maybe they'll be like, let's draft a defensive tackle in round 1 because you can't have enough. You just can't have enough. We're going to lose Solomon Thomas. We got to replace Solomon Thomas. Had to replace Solomon Thomas. Quarterback's dime a dozen, but it's a defensive tackle who gets you 2 sacks a year. Yeah, it's not the Niners' fault. It's really the whole league is screwed on this one. Everyone had a 5-year plan that was based on the cap going up, and now it ain't. So what are you going to do? You gotta create some cap space pronto. This is when GMs really show what they got. It's easy to tear down. Well, Balky already did it. Balky did it in Jacksonville, and now that team has the most desirable head coach opening in the NFL because it has 6 picks in the top 50, 66. The top pick in the draft, $80 million in cap space, no dead cap. Thank you very much, Trent Balky. Now, the problem is, if he were the GM, he would pick all the wrong players and it would be all worthless. But he's not the GM. He is the director of player personnel. Someone else will have executive decision-making power, and hopefully for Jacksonville, he won't ruin what he started.